Hey, it's Bitty Penny. Welcome back to my channel. You guys, this is kind of a follow-up to one of my lives. I made some things in a live last weekend, and one of those things was this 5x7 card. It's a Valentine's card. And I had so much fun figuring out how to thread that and make it. And then we made this tab journal together. And then I was like, okay, you guys, it's a flowish journal. I let you know that I was going to decorate it kind of later off screen, but I recorded a little bit for you and I have a flip through. So this kit is from Sweet Pea Curiosities, and this is just an adorable Valentine's kit, but it doesn't have to be just for Valentine's. It's not like completely Valentine's. I also think about it like Sacred Heart as well. It has lovely papers. Now these are shrunken down to print 2 per page. I showed in my live that this is what regular paper looks like versus what photo paper prints like with the same kit. So your paper does matter. We talked about that in the live. You can go back and watch the replay if you're interested. But I'm just going to sit here with you guys for a few minutes and finish decorating this sweet little journal. So I had printed these full page spreads down to 2 copies per page. And I am going to slip these into the journal. Now, these are single-sided. There's no printing on the back of them, which means I'm probably going to end up decorating those because I like to. So these aren't full size, obviously, but they fit perfectly in my little journal here. The beauty of this style of journal is that it is a flow journal. So you can add pages wherever you want. You can take pages out. I did tighten up the string on one of them. I realized after the live that I had not double knotted it. I had just tied it in a bow, and that's why it was so loose. So that was easy to fix. But yeah, if your string is too loose, you could always just cut it. If you can't untie it, just cut it off and start over again. But mine, I was able to untie and tie it tighter. Then you could also add more pages and more things. And certainly journals get more chunky the more you use them. I did decide to round all of the corners of these. And then I liked to use them as the center pages and like 2 of the signatures. I did go back and add because my tabs the paper I used on my tabs was single-sided. I went back in and tore little pieces and filled in the gaps on those tabs. But this journal is so sturdy. She is solid. I don't have to worry about her falling apart at all. This is some of the ephemera that came with this kit. This kit came with ephemera, full-size journal pages. It came with those beautiful file folder digitals, which is what I used for the card, and it's what I used for this journal here. And tons of options. It's super, super adorable. I will leave it linked down below. Again, it's over at Sweet Pea Curiosities on Etsy. Okay, so I had some stamp sets on my desk, and this love one was just perfect. So I'm going to grab my stamps. I thought this image, it was kind of the oddball out, which is perfect. I often, if I'm making like a set of cards, it never fails that I have one that's just not like the others. And that's how I felt about this little piece of ephemera, but it was just so cute. I love these little kids. I think they're precious. And so I decided to add it. This ink pad is so juicy. It's dangerous, y'all. It doesn't exactly stamp right because it's so juicy. And then the ink actually oozes onto the lid and everywhere. It's a mess. See, every time I have to be like really determined to use it because I know I'm going to make a mess every time I get that one out. Anyways, I have this scrap bit of paper, and I'm going to use this on the other side of this page. I just figured it would work and just use it up. Don't put it in the scrap box. Just use it in the journal. I am going to have to just trim the top and bottom a little bit to make it work for this page. I'm going to end up turning this into a flip out here. I realized, wow, that's really not straight. No wonder my corner rounder is not rounding. But I get that figured out. I bring in my faux vintage tape. I always get lots of questions on this, and your guys' questions are always welcomed. But basically, this is a transparent tape, like Scotch tape, for example. And I either use alcohol markers or alcohol ink to color it. And you can get the faux color, but you can use any color. I also use really bright colored ones. So whatever you want. But you know, this vintage brown color, I think, is the most common one. I have this fabulous Dollar Tree stamp. I just love it. And I'm going to stamp this on there as well. I'm always a sucker for images of like sparrows and birds. Birds, always with the birds. Okay, so those white pages have been dealt with. And then I wanted to revisit, the cover and the tabs. So that's what we're going to do here together. I did put that Hugs little tab dangle on during a live. But then the other two I added in the after session. Okay, this was a pom-pom trim that was just on my desk, and it is cute. There is nothing wrong with this. But as I was sitting here looking at it, I remembered this particular piece of lace that came in my Dreams Etc. box, and I just had to get it. And look at this lace. Oh my goodness. Now, of course, I won't say stingy, but I'm very conservative. Let's say conservative instead of stingy. I'm very conservative about how much of it I'm going to use on any one project because it is so gorgeous and it gives me the hoarding tendencies. But look at me. Aren't you proud? I'm using it. And I love what it adds to the front of this journal. But I'm not done by just adding it. It was a little short. I cut it a little short. But it's okay because I knew I wanted to layer it. So I'm also going to grab some Dollar Tree trim. It was something I purchased in January. I broke my no-buy for this trim and I am using it. So I think that that's what's important, right? I decided that I want to put a little heart on each tab. I thought that would be really sweet. Originally I was thinking a label, but then these little dangles that I have on here already have like words and images, so I decided to use trim instead. And I'm using my Fabrifix. Fabri-Tac also would work, or a different kind of glue if you're more patient and will wait for it to dry. When I'm working like this, I really do prefer this acetone based glue because it dries so quickly. And just like how I flipped that page out of my way so I could glue onto this page, then I'm going to flip this page out of the way. If I'm working with like my PVA glue, it'll hold lace, but I have to wait a lot longer for it to really stick. So that is where, for me, the Fabrifix or Fabri-Tac really kind of wins. You could also do hot glue, but I just tend to burn myself and make a mess. And I don't always think of hot glue, to be honest. So here I am using this Dollar Tree trim again, and I'm going to bring that around onto the lace. I hope you guys are having a really wonderful day. Tomorrow, if you watch this video in time, will be Valentine's. And I hope that y'all have a really sweet day. If you don't have a Valentine, don't stress yourself out. You can be your own Valentine. And you know exactly what kind of treats you like. And you know how to spoil yourself. So there you go. That's my PSA for today. If you don't have a Valentine, don't let it stress you out. Be your own Valentine or surprise someone and just do something sweet. Okay, I have this cluster. This was from my membership work that we did, the projects that we did in January on my membership channel. And I made some clusters that were really basic, and this is why. So when I'm working on projects like this one, I can come in, add some ephemera, make it, more personalized to this journal. And this worked out perfectly. I just added another little scrap, and then I added some ephemera from this kit. And you really can't tell, that they weren't meant to be, or that it all goes together very well. So I decide once I get that glued down, I'm like, I've really been wanting to make more hidden paper clips. So I'm going to turn this cluster into a hidden paper clip, and I'm going to have it clip on the edge of that page. So I grab a scrap. We've all got scraps. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it here. I barely made it, to be honest. I probably should have had my paper clip out sooner, but I made it. So I grab a paper clip and a scrap. I just fold that in half, and then I had this other piece of ephemera as well. I decide which direction I'm going to want this to clip onto my page, secure my cluster a little bit more, because when I was making those clusters, it was just a quick assembly. I'm going to put glue, a good amount of glue, on both sides of this. And then I decided I wanted the paper clip itself to be hidden. So I'm going to use scraps, and I'm going to keep gluing and layering paper here on this edge, so that when I glue the front and back, the back being the cluster that I just put glue on, and the front being this piece of ephemera, when I glue all this down, it'll be even, and it just will look more finished. There won't be any kind of like awkwardness. It'll be a flat, even piece. So that is how I made this hidden paper clip. There are a ton of ways to make hidden paper clips. And I really need to have like a mass making session where I just make a bunch of them, because it's been on like my wish list of things to do. I was thinking about using tulle on this, but I decided not to. I did end up using it on one of my pages, so you'll see that later. So, I brought in tulle and just all kinds of things. Here I'm securing that inner piece a little bit more, and now it just clips right onto my page. This is another cluster that I had from my January makes with members. Hey guys. Hey Glue Crew. Hey Crafty Squad. Hey Dream Team. How are you guys? So yeah, I made this with them in January, and it's just so fabulous having some clusters ready to go. Here are my two finished projects. This is the card. Actually, I've already given this to my mother for Valentine's Day, and she told me she's going to keep it forever. It's her favorite card, one of her favorite cards I've ever made for her. So that's a win. I knew she would like it. Oh, as soon as I saw, I started making it and I saw this collection, I knew she would really like it. I got to hand deliver it without an envelope, but I wanted to show you. Depending on how you add your lace, I had mine hang down. But if you didn't, it would easily fit in a 5x7 envelope. And this little file folder was printed just as exactly has how the file comes. I didn't edit or change the scale of it at all. So I love this trim and what it adds to this journal. I always love fabric and texture. The tab binding is so easy. No part of this journal was sewn. This is a completely no-sew project. You don't have to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You don't have to sew or do anything. So this may be a great beginner journal for you to try. I think the size is super adorable. I added pockets and, just different pages. I had stenciled on the back of those pages. I added flip outs and multiple kinds of little flip outs. I think flip outs are fun because you can have hidden journaling space, which is always nice. I'm showing you here that this is definitely a flow journal, which means your pages can come in and out and you can move them around. You can move them up and down. You can change the order. You can put in whatever you like. Here's where I use the tool. I made this little piece of ephemera and then put that tool behind it. And I just love what that adds to that page. So here's a signature, the second signature. In my live video, we made master boards to cover the insides of these signatures. I used 6x6 paper and just all kinds of things. Here I'm going to show you. You can easily move pages up and down, and it's just so fun having a flow journal because it can be exactly what you want it to be. And then you can come back and change your mind, and it can be that way too. It can just be anything that you decide. Here's just a scrap piece of paper that I put behind that hidden paper clip that we made together. And these are just so fun. I really do need to have a hidden paper clips video. Okay, this cluster, I had noticed on the other side that little edge was not glued down. So I decided to go back in and make sure I had that adhered down. That bird, so pretty. Here's a little pocket. I didn't really have a lot of things to show you guys, all the pockets and stuff like at the ready, but there's a few in here. They're not excessive. There's not too many, but there's a few. I really want to make more of these tab journals. I just love how beautiful they are. I need to go to Sweet Pea Curiosities and see Marisa's kits. I want to see how many of her other kits might have these same file folders in them, because they really do make fast, easy, beautiful journals the way that I made this one. I mean, I made a journal and a card in like an hour and a half with you guys on that live. So it is a fast project. It's an easy project and it's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time here with me. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.